UW!
What I love about the UW is the beautiful campus and the fresh air.
So I've lived in Washington my whole life, and so growing up, this was always a school that, I got to walk around campus as a little kid, and it always really amazed me, especially seeing all these grand buildings.
I feel very honored to be a Husky. I definitely feel like I'm representing them on the field.
I like the campus so much. It's an amazing campus.
I love it here, honestly. I come from a really small town, so being able to be on the campus and just experience the city life, it's really awesome.
I always dreamed about going to school just because my parents came here and they kind of raised me like a Husky, so it's kind of a dream come true to come here.
Hi, I'm Bob Stacy, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Welcome to the University of Washington. The College of Arts and Sciences enrolls the largest number of undergraduates of any academic college at UW. Almost 2/3 of you will ultimately earn your degree from one or more of the college's 38 departments. And even those of you who graduate from UW's other fine schools or colleges will likely begin your programs of study with classes taught by arts and sciences faculty members. Art, music, economics, English, foreign languages, political science, biology, chemistry, mathematics. All these and many more subjects are part of the broad and deep education we offer in the College of Arts and Sciences. We look forward to working with you in the months and years ahead. It's going to be great.
I was actually initially drawn in by the school's emphasis on sustainability. I'm a public administration student hoping to go into environmental management, and when I started looking at schools, I found that over and over again, the University of Washington came up for being recognized for their emphasis on sustainability.
Welcome to UW. I'm Mia Tuan, Dean of the College of Education. What unites the students, faculty, and alumni at my college is a dedication to helping every child reach their full creative potential. Being an educator isn't simply about teaching facts or the ABCs. It's about creating social change, opportunity, and empowerment. Do you want to help young people connect the dots and experience aha moments? Work with youth and families outside the classroom to build strong communities? How about advancing social justice through reimagining our educational systems? If these questions speak to you, the College of Education is the place for you to become a catalyst for positive social change. Our students make a difference every day through service learning and field experiences at more than 300 schools and community organizations in the Seattle area. I invite you to discover how you can create opportunities for all learners by exploring the College of Education's undergraduate programs. On behalf of our faculty and students, I wish you the best as you begin your Husky adventure.
I love the football games. Everyone was cheering, and it definitely shows a bunch of school spirit. And so it definitely shows how unified we can be. A group of 60,000 kids all coming together for a common purpose.
Welcome to the University of Washington. I'm Nancy Albritton, Dean of the College of Engineering. As a biomedical engineer, I've always been absolutely excited about what engineering can contribute to the world. At this time in our history, I'm particularly excited about how our College of Engineering is positioned to be a worldwide leader. Engineers are problem solvers. We design innovative medical technologies. We find new ways to harness energy and confront climate change. We build resilient infrastructure to keep us safe. We even create amazing new products that you probably didn't think you needed until you learned that you can't live without them. We provide a project-based, real-world learning experience. Our students build rovers, robots, hybrid vehicles. They partner with industry through our Industry Capstone program. Whatever you're passionate about, you will be sure to find a home at the College of Engineering. I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome you to our community of innovators as you begin your journey here at the UW.
Do not be afraid to raise your hand and volunteer for something. Join a club, go Greek, join your residence hall's council, but make sure you get involved. Let's go Huskies!
I am Frank Hodge, Dean of the Michael G. Foster School of Business. It is a privilege to welcome you to the University of Washington. You are joining one of the world's premier educational institutions. Know that all of us on campus will do everything possible to provide you with a transformative learning experience, one where you grow more than you ever thought possible. At the Foster School of Business, we like to say we are committed to being better together, better tomorrow. How are we better tomorrow? By being innovative, having a growth mindset, and seeking excellence in everything we do. We are committed to continuous improvement. We, and I mean both faculty and students at the Foster School, challenge each other every day to be better tomorrow than we are today. We work together to create tomorrow's community leaders by developing frameworks for tackling real-world, complex, unstructured problems in an ethically sound way. How are we better together? By being inclusive and welcoming everyone who comes through our doors and everyone in the communities we serve. Being together and coming together to make a difference in our communities is how we do things in the Foster School of Business. Together, we create futures. Come visit the Foster School in Packard Hall and Dempsey Hall. See what we're all about. I wish you much success and great happiness during your time on campus. Welcome, and go Dogs.
The UW is a place of learning and community, and it's where you can make friends and mentors and do a lot of personal growth.
Hi, my name is Anin Day, and I'm the Dean of the Information School. If you're like most, you're probably wondering, what is an information school? We study the use of novel technology to solve real-world information problems that make a difference to people. For example, we study how virtual reality can improve access to information in public libraries. We explore how computer algorithms can be designed to be less biased when they make decisions that affect our lives. We also invent new techniques for people with disabilities to interact with technology, for patients to interact with their doctors, and for refugees to access information in a language they're not comfortable with. In short, we figure out how to make information work for people in everyday settings. If these are the kinds of problems you'd like to help solve, please come visit us at the Information School. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of the Information School, I would like to welcome all the new students and their families to the University of Washington.
So my advice to incoming freshmen is to seek for help. Suck in that pride, look for help. You will need it. There's a lot of resources at the school.
Welcome to the University of Washington. I'm Renee Chang, Dean of the College of Built Environments. What are the built environments? It's everything from the building you're in now to the roads and bridges that you use to get here. As society becomes more urbanized and faces grand challenges like climate change, the environmental impact of the built environments is becoming increasingly urgent. We prepare our graduates to tackle these challenges through research, collaboration, and integration among our college's disciplines to create innovative urban infrastructures for future generations. So if you have the passion to plan or design the cities of tomorrow, build sustainable, sophisticated projects, or explore social equity in the built environments, I encourage you to explore the educational opportunities offered by the college. We stand ready to help you prepare for careers in architecture, landscape architecture, construction management, real estate, and urban design and community environmental planning. Welcome to the UW family. We wish you the best as you embark on your studies here.
1, 2, 1.
It's actually a dream come true, being in this band. So playing the saxophone is practically my main thing, and I've been wanting to do this for a really long time.
I'd say my morning walk to class is my favorite. I get to go by the fountain, and sometimes on clear days I can see Mount Rainier, and that's really cool.
The W. I love the W because it's just like, you're at UW, you just gotta do it.
I would say just next to the Husky outside the hub, I think these are the best selfies. Let me show you one.
Hi, I'm Hillary Godwin, Dean of the UW School of Public Health. Welcome to the University of Washington. Public health is an amazing field that connects so many things, from the food we eat and the air we breathe to the way we live, work, and play. While the medical field focuses on individual patients, public health deals with entire communities. We create new technologies that detect and prevent diseases. We analyze big data to understand what causes cancer. We seek to understand the causes of gun violence, and we assess and promote policies designed to improve people's health. Our work makes a difference and has no borders. We strive to create healthy communities here in Washington State and around the globe. And we're proud to be part of a university that's made a commitment to improving the health of people worldwide and having a positive impact on our surrounding community. Public health students are driven by a passion for social justice and a commitment to improve the conditions in which people live. Our students learn through innovative teaching methods and by immersing themselves in the communities that they seek to serve. If you are driven by a passion for the greater good, are interested in health, and want to make a difference, I urge you to consider some of our undergraduate classes or programs in public health.
Try and find your niche. It's a big campus and it's easy to feel like you're kind of drowning and you don't really know where to go, but just try and find, a group of people and cling on to them and make, you'll become like a family eventually.
Congratulations on your acceptance to the University of Washington, and welcome to our beautiful campus. I'm Lisa Gromlich, the Dean of the College of the Environment. I share your Husky pride. I received my PhD from the University of Washington, and I'm proud to be a UW alum. The College of the Environment's faculty, staff, and students are on the leading edge of addressing the complex environmental challenges of our time. And there has never been a more important time to be focused on these challenges. With 600 faculty and staff, more than 70 labs, and 20 different degree programs, the College of the Environment is a world-class environmental hub. Our work knows few bounds. We conduct research on every continent and in every ocean on the planet. You are part of a new generation of leaders who understand the challenges we face. UW will prepare you to think differently, act more responsibly, and you will be ready for a world that is constantly changing. Whether your interest is in oceans, marine life, climate change, the atmosphere, or land and forest, the College of the Environment has something for you. I know your experience here will be exciting. Welcome to the University of Washington.
I didn't know what I wanted to major in when I got here, and I had a lot of options. So that's what I like about UW.
Greetings and welcome to the University of Washington. I'm Eddie Wihara, Dean of the School of Social Work. The school is home to a highly diverse, accomplished, and energetic community. If you seek the skills and knowledge to make a real difference in the world, come study and learn with us at the School of Social Work, and have a wonderful year.
I really love living in the sorority houses and being a member of the Greek community at the University of Washington. It's completely enriched my collegiate experience here. I've met a diverse group of people.
get involved. You know, classes can get tough, school can get very stressful, and if you don't have something to do outside, then things could just get pretty depressing. You know, you always got to have something to keep your body moving, to keep your mind fresh, and that'll make all the classes worth it.
Hello, my name is Jody Sanford, Dean of the top-ranked Evans School of Public Policy and Governance. I want to welcome each of you to the University of Washington. UW is a special place. You're joining an incredible community during a remarkable time in our history. The events of the last year, the inequitable impacts of COVID-19, the resulting economic disparities, the pervasive violence experienced by Black, Indigenous, and other communities of color call on each one of us to lead from where we are. At the Evans School, undergraduates, you can gain a deeper appreciation of current issues and trends in public and international affairs. You can have a greater understanding of career opportunities in public service and develop the knowledge and skills to support long-term careers in public policy. We also have a few initiatives that are directly relevant to you. We're launching the Next Gen Civic Leadership Corps, a space where those of you who want to make a difference in the world can connect and learn from each other. I encourage you to stop at Parrington Hall or visit our website, evans.uw.edu, and learn more about our undergraduate programs, our commitment to equity, and the legacy of student advocacy and activism that has really helped us envision a better way forward. So I look forward to seeing you on campus. And again, welcome to UW.
Visit the academic advisors every quarter to make sure that you're on your right path.
I'm Azita Imami, the Dean of the University of Washington School of Nursing. It's my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students. The University of Washington School of Nursing is one of the nation's premier nursing schools. We are dedicated to improving the health of communities in Washington, the United States, and throughout the world. As a Husky nurse, you will learn to be a leader, not only on a healthcare team, but also on the front lines of healthcare reform, advocacy, policymaking, and community nursing care. You'll learn to be an innovator in nursing science and will participate and lead research that will improve healthcare for generations to come. You'll learn to be responsive to society's health and wellness needs, so all members of our community may live the fullest lives possible. If you share our hunger to undauntedly tackle challenges and boundlessly pursue excellence, if you share our conviction that together we can create a world of good, join us.
I love Uville, University Village. I think it's super fun going down there just with my friends, get some ice cream at Molly Moon's or have some dinner. I love Uville. It always makes me feel, you know, just kind of relaxed whenever I go there.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin shortly. Please be seated and turn off all cell phones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the University of Washington's annual Convocation. The Convocation will begin with the processional of the faculty, deans, presidents, regents, administrative leadership, and honored guests.
We'd like to begin this ceremony by acknowledging the land on which the university rests, the land of the Coast Salish peoples, which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. Today, we celebrate together. The 2021 University of Washington New Student Convocation will be opened with the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner by Mallory McCollum, an incoming master's degree student in the School of Music. The audience will please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed
Please be seated. It's just so wonderful to see you all. I cannot tell you. Good afternoon, my fellow students, and welcome to the University of Washington. My name is Joseph Janes, and I'm an associate professor in the Information School. I'm also the University Marshal, and I preside at official academic ceremonies like today's new Student Convocation. So I get the honor and privilege of offering you our first words of official greeting. It also means I am your first professor. And if you're in my 10:30 class tomorrow morning, I'm really your first professor. So I get to give you your first lesson about our campus, some of its history and traditions, and what comes next. How many of us are first-generation college students? I am too. And once I sat where you sit, not in a tent, in a different place and time at a convocation on my first day. And my strongest memory of that day was all of this, the symbols and signs you see all around us. Behind me, you see banners representing each of the university's schools and colleges, arranged in historical order, beginning with the College of Arts and Sciences and going all the way right round to the School of Public Health. These are called gonfalons, a word that comes to us from 12th century Florence. On your commencement day, some of you will carry the gonfalon for your school or college, and the rest of you will march in behind. On that day, you'll see replicas of the 4 Ionic columns that currently reside right over there in the Sylvan Grove. Those are the actual columns from the facade of the university's first building, the Territorial University, that opened over 150 years ago in 1861 in what is now downtown Seattle, when Washington was not yet a state and Seattle a village of fewer than 200 people. Those columns bear witness to the foresight of the people of early Washington, as does the place we are on right now, this magnificent Rainier Vista. The Vista was designed by the Olmsted brothers for the Alaska Yukon Pacific Exposition, a World's Fair that was held right here in 1909 and then intended to become our campus. A pond that was the centerpiece of that exposition became Drumheller Fountain, a gift to the university in 1961 for our centennial. In days gone by, unsuspecting freshmen were occasionally introduced to the body of water you see over there, leading to the name of the Frosh Pond. But we don't do that sort of thing anymore, so relax. Traditions sometimes come and go. If you keep going north from the fountain, you'll get to the crossroads of our campus, Red Square. If you heard bells as you came across the square this afternoon, there they are. Those were the Gordon Stewart Peak change-ringing bells, housed in Gerberding Hall. They are named after a UW alumnus who taught history at the UW and purchased the bells for us. Dr. Peak still lives in Seattle and recently celebrated his 96th birthday. Red Square, of course, is where you'll also find the magnificent Suzzallo Library. The library was named for a former president who laid out a vision of the University of Washington in the 1920s as a university of 1,000 years. And if you're going to have a university of 1,000 years, that is the library you put right in the middle of it. In that library, and in every other building and corner of this university, is represented a substantial chunk of the sum of human knowledge. And our faculty and students are adding to that every day. There are also substantial gaps in what is here. Questions unanswered and unasked, voices unheard and unrecorded. And all of this now lies before you. The columns and banners are special parts of our university's traditions, but it is not just this university's life and traditions you are joining. You are entering into the life and traditions of an ancient and continuous process of teaching and learning that goes back centuries. That connection is symbolized in the medieval caps and gowns we wear on these occasions, the president's medallion, and by the special ritual object the University Marshal carries in our ceremonies, the mace. The mace is an ancient symbol of authority that reminds us that universities are custodians both of enduring traditions of learning and of the power they bestow on those who come to learn. Our mace is topped by a lovely rendition of the fountain and features finely wrought metal reliefs of the university seal, that original territorial university, and Denny Hall up on the hill, our campus's first building erected in 1895. Okay, that's all history. So what comes next? You do. You are why we are all here. Today, you are ending one stage of your lives and starting another. So take a moment right now, stop, and consider the significance of what you have achieved so far and the people who have helped you along the way. You are now part of us, and we will be part of you. With our help, you will change each other, yourselves, and us. I can't tell you how much I envy the opportunity and adventure that lies before you, and I can't wait to see all the marvels you produce. And when it really matters and you really need help, ask a librarian. You're welcome. Now, go do great things. It is now my very great pleasure to introduce to you the president of the University of Washington, Professor Anna-Mari Kause.
Thank you, Professor Janes. Hello, incoming class. Whether you are new to the university, as a first-year student or a first-year transfer student, or whether you are new to being in campus on person, let me be the very first one to officially welcome you to the University of Washington. You've made it. I'd like to start by introducing our stage party today, beginning with our regents. The university's Board of Regents consists of 6 citizens of the state who are appointed by the governor and confirmed by the state senate. These dedicated men and women devote many hours each year to the welfare of the university. Representing the board today are Regent Dr. Constance W. Rice, Regent Rogelio Riojas, and Regent Dealey Barish, the student member of the board. Thank you. Also, joining us remotely are the other members of the board, Regent Blaine Tamaki, the chair of the board, Regent David Zeke, board vice chair, Regent William S. Eyre, Regent Joe Benalil, Regent Joanne R. Harrell, Regent Jeremy Jake, and Regent Libby McPhee. Please join me in thanking all of our regents. Now, also seated on the platform are several deans from the university's 16 schools and colleges, the senior administrative leadership of the university, your student body presidents, and the chair of the faculty senate. You'll hear from many of our guests on stage shortly. And seated with you are the faculty and staff members who greeted you when you arrived today. Would everyone on stage and faculty and staff here today please stand and allow us to thank you for being with us. Thank you. We really appreciate. We know that the sun is out and there are many adventures, and we appreciate the fact that you came here. I'd like to welcome you, our new students, to the University of Washington. I, along with your faculty, advisors, counselors, and so many others that are invested in your future, have been anticipating this moment for a long time. Your journeys and your potential are at the heart of why the university exists. We're so proud to welcome you to this community of curious, creative, talented, driven people. And we can't wait to see what you make of your Husky experience. I'm overjoyed to be welcoming so many of you in person as you launch your UW career, and just as delighted for all of you that are watching remotely. To all the families and loved ones watching, thank you for being a part of this experience. We wish we could all be together, but as we continue the work of coming out of COVID safely and carefully, We're so grateful to all of you for all the ways in which you've supported your students. While we can't be in the tent together, please know we are together in spirit. And we see you and all that you've done to make it possible for your student to be here today. You've been their cheerleaders and the standard to which they hold themselves. Your powerful influence and even more powerful love will remain a core part of what makes your students the incredible people that they are. So on behalf of everyone at the University of Washington, thank you for helping them get here and for entrusting our university to give them every opportunity imaginable. Thank you to all the parents, supporters, and friends who are tuning in. And now to students, you're beginning your UW adventure at a very unique and unprecedented time. But after the last 18 months, you're probably very accustomed to people saying unprecedented. It's not overused, though. These really are very unique times. The COVID pandemic has changed the face of the world, including the ways in which it's exposed and exacerbated the toll and trauma of systemic racism and inequity. You are the vanguard of a generation shaped by these forces. I know that the last year and a half has been tough. We have all suffered somehow. And yet, the proof of your extraordinary ability to persevere is the fact that you're sitting here today. You are all equipped for the work and learning that's ahead of you. And you have more than earned the fun, friendship, and discovery that awaits you here. I do want to acknowledge that arriving at college, even being in this beautiful setting with soon-to-be wonderful friends, won't erase all the traumas and hurts that may well have accumulated during these long and difficult months. I bet you some of you are anxious. I know I am. Some of you may have suffered losses, some of them very deep. And you may make this transition. As you make this transition to a brand new environment, at times it will feel overwhelming. But help is here. We are here for you. And our mission is to make you feel welcome, safe, and free to be whoever you are, authentically, and more often than not, joyfully. Wherever you are in your UW journey, don't be afraid to put your hand up, to ask for help, whether it's academically, emotionally, or mentally. We have support systems here for you. And it's a sign of wisdom and strength, not weakness, for you to use these tools that we have to help you fix whatever needs fixing. Again, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of self-knowledge. It's a sign of strength. And I can promise you that the faculty sitting behind me and many more who couldn't all fit on the stage would tell you the same thing. They're amongst the world's most talented, dedicated educators and thinkers, and they care about you, their students, immensely. To be here, they not only have to be passionate about their area of expertise, and they are, but also passionate about sharing that knowledge and enthusiasm with you. And so I urge you to take advantage of this precious resource and to get to know the wonderful, inspiring people who teach and mentor at the University of Washington. And just as importantly, get to know each other, because you will also discover inspiration and passion in the people sitting beside you and in the classmates that are making this journey and embarking on this great adventure with you. Share your perspectives and let your ideas be challenged. and challenge each other's ideas. But while you're doing that, treat each other with kindness, compassion, empathy, and respect. Let us create the society that we wish to see in the world. It begins with us. And finally, let yourself follow where curiosity takes you, down winding paths, into surprising places. As an undergraduate, I first came in following my curiosity in English and journalism. I kept my English major and it served me very well, but I discovered totally unexpectedly my love of psychology and psychology research, and it led me to a career that's brought me incredible joy and satisfaction. So be open to that internal curiosity and see where it leads you. Wherever it is, you will find people at the University of Washington eager to support you in your quest. Welcome to the University of Washington.
Thank you, President Kause. And now I'd like to introduce to you the man who oversees all of the units on campus that will serve as your support crew on this extraordinary journey you're about to begin. As the Vice President for Student Life, he oversees such diverse areas as food and housing, the Counseling and Career Centers, student publications, our recreational sports programs, and the Center of Student Life and Student Government, the Husky Union Building, or the Hub. It is a huge responsibility, and we are very privileged to have a uniquely qualified leader in this role. Please join me in welcoming our Vice President for Student Life, Dr. Denzel Sweet.
Good afternoon, Huskies. You just cannot imagine how delighted we are to welcome you to this new academic year and how much we've missed seeing students on campus. Your absence, it was felt deeply. Yet from a distance of about 6 feet and beyond, we've really marveled at how you've managed this pandemic, how you've managed to navigate the ever-changing guidance from public health, and how you led with kindness and compassion. You are exactly what we mean when we say Huskies, they're the best in the world. But it's back to campus for all of us, including me, which means that I will likely have to give up my little side hustle. But any other sci-fi fans out there, or is it just me? All right, we got a few of you. Truth be told, I'd rather be here anyway. And as I stand here and I gaze out at all of you, I'm taken back to my first days in college. And yes, I do realize that from your perspective, that was just after the earth cooled. But as my college experience was for me, your time at the University of Washington will be one of considerable transformation. Without question, you will emerge from this campus a different individual. But I want you to consider the maxim which states that to change and to improve are two different things. I'd like you to think about that for a second. To change and to improve are two different things. So here we are back in person, and you will be faced with choices and changes that will impact the rest of your lives. I'm certain that some of this can feel overwhelming, but that's a very natural feeling. The question is, what will you do with the choices before you? Will you be content to simply allow change to happen? Or will you take an active role, make your own thoughtful choices, and purposely set yourselves on a path of improvement? Today, as you embark on this transformational journey of discovery, we in the Division of Student Life are here to help, guide, and support you to ensure that you experience not just change, but improvement. We are here to listen when times get tough, to help you with career choices, and make sure that you have a friendly and inclusive community within the larger university environment. We also offer a wide variety of activities designed to enhance your personal health, which we know is important to your overall academic success. In conjunction with our partners in the Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity, the Graduate School, and in undergraduate academic affairs, Student Life serves as the hub of many of the activities that both complement your academic life and help you find and build community with others. But make no mistake, your academic pursuits, they need to remain your #1 priority. However, you must also get involved. And I want you to hear me when I tell you that your UW experience, it will be incomplete if all you do is go to class, go home, and study all night. We know from years of experience and research that students just like you who participate in student government, join clubs and organizations, join their residence hall student government, these students graduate at higher rates, they are more satisfied with the college experience, they have better grades, and they are less likely to stop out. My message here for you this afternoon is whatever your course of study, whatever your passion, just remember why you are here. You, like the Huskies who came before you, represent the next leaders of government, society, industry, our local communities, and the world. To achieve the greatness that is within you, it is critically important that you do well in the classroom, but also to get involved with your university at every level, starting with the faculty, but including the wonderful staff and your fellow students. In other words, make the choices that will lead to improvement, like so many Huskies before you. And speaking of your fellow Huskies, I would like to introduce to you someone who has challenged himself to succeed both academically and in significant leadership roles. He's a political science and international security major and is beginning his senior year as president of the Associated Students of the University of Washington. Please join me in welcoming your student body president, Mustafa Samate.
Thank you very much, Denzel. It is truly a privilege to be here today to get to see all of you and get to address and welcome you to campus face to face. It is my honor to welcome you to this convocation and the beginning of a new academic year. About 3 weeks ago, I was informed that I will have the opportunity to address the new class of 2025. And since then, I've been thinking to myself exactly what do I want to share with this class to help them navigate the college and our community. Well, I must say, my experience is very, very different from my former predecessors because I have spent the last 365 days on Zoom, Netflix, and Disney Plus, to the fact that I have to now wear prescription glasses. I don't think Disney will pay me for this again, but my hours spent to singing along to Frozen 2, I mean the song Into the Unknown, really spoke to me directly and still speaks to me during the days of quarantine. When I think of my Husky experience and my higher education journey, I think of many unknowns. I moved to the United States from West Africa, the Gambia, in 2016, with many unknowns, with many cultural shocks, not knowing what to expect in the United States and in my college journey. Believe me, planning is good, but adaptation is even better. During my first quarter at UW, shortly after that, the COVID-19 hit us and placed us into an unknown bubble, making it one of the most difficult, challenging, and trying years of our lives. A year where it seems that if we took 2 steps forward, we really do take 5 steps backwards. A year where every time we were starting to get into a new normal, something else will come up and happen, disrupting us, leaving us frustrated, fatigued, and tired. Nevertheless, and despite all the challenges, we made it. Why? Because we were one boundless family. We pushed through COVID-19. We pushed through racial injustices, and we're still pushing through to change the system and challenge the norms in creating a new normal that best reflects us as a community. You all here will face many shared and individual challenges during your time here at UW, but how you get out of it is what makes your Husky experience meaningful. Sometime in the future, whether in 2, 3, 4, or 5 years here, you will get to walk the graduation stage and join the wider world in contributing in making it a better place. But that journey starts here today. It starts here today at UW. When you leave this tent here today, you will get access to the greatest nets of resources. You will get to meet the greatest communities in the world, and you will get to meet the most innovative students I have ever met. Take it all in, and as you do, decide how you want your Husky experience to be, because it is really up to you to get to make the world you want to see. And with that, I would like to welcome you to the University of Washington, and congrats on making it here. Thank you very much, and I look forward to connecting with you all this academic year.
Hey, everybody. As I look out at all of you, I can't help but feel nostalgic. I remember my first year at UW Bothell, being a freshman, not knowing what I was in store for, and excited to see what I could find. Then, I remember 4 years later, my first year as a graduate student, realizing all that I had accomplished and determined to continue pushing forward. And then I remember my first year here at UW Seattle at the law school, right before the pandemic. I barely had about 6 months to be on campus before the pandemic hit. And it was rough, and I'm sure you all remember that. But the thing is that none of us here on stage can truly relate to what you are about to embark on, because none of us had to start our journey right at the end, hopefully the end, of a historic, unprecedented pandemic. But the one thing that we can all relate to, and you will soon discover, is the hope that comes with being a student at UW. Truly discovering who you are as a person and what your passions will be. I know that for me, coming from high school, all I knew was that I wanted to make some money. And so I decided to try to be an electrical engineer major, because I heard that made a lot of money. Then I realized I hated math. And so I decided to switch majors. And I went into law, economics, and public policy. And that's when I realized I had a true passion for advocacy and fighting for people who don't have voices. You too will go on some kind of unique journey here at UW and discover who you actually are going to be. What I ask of all of you is to not let go of that spark, not let go of that hope that comes with being a UW student. At the beginning of last year, a lot of us said that the theme was going to be, you need to be resilient. That is still the case. However, what I'd like to ask of all of you is to also have compassion, not just for one another, but for your faculty, your administration, your staff. We're all going through this together. And the only way that we can do that is if we realize that we are all human. And none of us are perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. There are going to be hard times. But if you realize what you're fighting for, I promise you we're all gonna make it through. So with that, I'd like to welcome all of you to UW, and I hope that you have as productive of an adventure as I've had. Thank you.
One of the things we want to do today is to introduce you, the entering class, to our faculty and deans and the university community. At the same time, we also want to tell them, us, a little about you. There is likely no one more familiar with the incoming class than our Dean of Undergraduate Academic Affairs, Dr. Ed Taylor. Dean Taylor is a graduate of Gonzaga University and received his PhD from the University of Washington. He's been a member of the faculty in the College of Education since 1994. Please join me in welcoming Dean Ed Taylor.
Ordinarily, we'd be in a stadium together. You'd be sitting in the lower bowl, and your parents and loved ones would be encircling you. Many of you are here now. Many of your friends and family and loved ones, your brothers and sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your aunties, are watching. Many are watching from nearby in Seattle. Some are watching from China. Some are watching from Alaska, from Wyoming, from Canada, from Australia, Saudi Arabia. They're watching you from India. Many of you are on campus now. There are many out on Red Square. Far too many didn't make it here today. Far too many didn't make it to 2021, but we are here now. And I'm going to welcome you in a moment, but there are three words that are going to run through my words, and those three words are, if you take nothing else from my moment in front of you, three words are, we belong together. Whether we're sitting here or not, we belong together. I have very few words for you, but I did ask some of your family to send us a few words, a little bit of wisdom, and I got lots of responses from your friends, from family and loved ones. Let me read a couple for you. One came from a mother who wrote this. I'm going to read it. My daughter walked on campus in August 2020 and immediately fell in love with the University of Washington. This is where she wanted to be. She knew it. Her grandmother was born 95 years ago. Her great-grandfather managed the Drexel Hotel on Drexel and 3rd in downtown Seattle. Their families lost everything they had in Seattle with the internment of all Japanese descent during World War II. No family members live in Seattle now. Our daughter was drawn back to her grandmother's hometown. Our daughter was drawn back to where her 95-year-old grandmother lived. She did an early fall start project. She came to campus early. And this is what her project was. She visited her grandmother's birth site. She visited her grandmother's elementary school. She visited the places where her grandmother hung out. She found deep joy and peace. We celebrate the privilege of her homecoming, they said. Her grandmother's legacy was to live gamin. To live gamin, which means to endure the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. The words of a 95-year-old grandmother. Live gamin. Persevere with patience and dignity. And she said, live the golden rule, love others as you yourself want to be loved. That from a grandmother. Love others as you yourself want to be loved. This came from a family. Our son's grandfather graduated in 1951. He was a first-generation student who became an alumni legend in the School of Pharmacy. He instilled kindness, modeled a work ethic that was committed to giving back to the community. Our son was named after the great jazz innovator and inimitable genius saxophonist Charlie Bird Parker. Our hope for you and our son is to live without boundaries, create positive change in the world. And the family invoked Charlie Parker. A few words from Parker. You've got to learn your instrument. You've got to learn your instrument. Then you practice, practice, practice. And then when you finally get up on the bandstand, forget all that and just wail. Practice, 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 learn your instrument, and when you get on the bandstand, just play. Just get up and play. So what do we know about you? I want to introduce you to each other. 2021 incoming class. Some of you are first year. Some of you are second year and coming to campus for the first time. Some of you are transfer students. Some of you are graduate students, and you're here. We have 7,250 freshmen, 4,475 coming from the state of Washington. 1,500 transfers, 1,300 coming from Washington colleges. I don't know what this number means, 59.7% female, 43% male. I'm just going to leave that in the tent. Last year's GPA was 3.79. Not that it's about competition, but your incoming grade was 3.82. Your grade point average did not get you into the University of Washington. I assure you this, your story did. Who you are, where you came from, how you lived your life, how you fell down, how you got back up. That's what got you into the University of Washington. There are, just so you know, 51 Emilys, 50 Graces, 44 Olivias. There's only one Summer from Walnut Creek. Where are you, Summer? From Walnut Creek. Denise from Puyallup. Shrihad from India, you're here. Boys, there's 34 Ethans, 31 Matthews, 28 Samuels, and a whole lot more. Nearly 5,000 students from the state of Washington. I'm going to mention a few schools, and if you hear your school, you can go ahead and applause. You're from Newport High School, you're from Bellevue High School, you're from Interlake High School, 84 students from Eastlake High School, you're from Skyline High School, 80 students from Garfield High School. We can almost see it from here. You're joining 79 students from Franklin. The Franklin Quakers are here with the Garfield Bulldogs. You are from Redmond High School, you are from Roosevelt, you're from Issaquah, Inglemoor, Cleveland High School, Washington High School, Henry Jackson High School, Kent Meridian, Mercer Island, Lake Washington High School, Edmonds Woodway. 141 students from Spokane area high schools. 28 from Chief Sealth International High School, 17 students from Richland High School. 21 of you were homeschooled. How many of you were homeschooled? Well, technically, all of you were homeschooled in the last year or two, so you could all put your hands up. You were all homeschooled. These are just some of the Washington State high schools. 11 students came from the wheat fields of Pullman, Washington, the home of the Nez Perce, the home of the Palouse people, to the shores of Lake Washington, the home of the Coast Salish people, and you've made this your home. We belong together. I want to end with a portion of a poem from Albert Rios called A House Called Tomorrow. You are not 15 or 12 or 17. You are 100 wild centuries and 15, bringing with you in every breath and in every step, everyone who has come before you, all the yous that you have been. Imagine, it's not just you, but it's all that have come before you. The mothers of your mother, the fathers of your father. If someone in your family was trouble, 100 were not. The bad do not win, Rios says. The bad do not win, not finally, no matter how loud they are. We simply would not be here if that were so. The bad do not win, no matter how loud they are. We simply would not be here if that were so. You are made fundamentally from the good. With this knowledge, you never march alone. You are the breaking news of the century. You are the good who has come forward, all in service to a simple idea, that we can make a house called tomorrow. What we bring finally into new day every day is ourselves. And that's all we need to start. That's everything we require. Look back only as long as you must, then look forward to the history that you will make. You're making it by your very presence here. Be good, then better, write books, cure disease, make us proud, make yourself proud. And those who came before you, when you hear thunder, hear it as their applause. When you hear thunder, hear it as their applause. So ordinarily, if we were in the stadium, I would ask you to stand up and hold hands with your neighbor, just to connect. So I'm going to ask you to do something different. I'm going to ask you to trust me for a moment. I'm going to ask you to hold your hands up. We're not going to hold hands, but just hold your hands in the air. One hand, two hands. All of you as well. Hold your hands up. Hold them up high, a little higher. And just be quiet for a second. Now I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to invoke an image of your mother who couldn't be here, of your father, of your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your friends, your loved ones, your nana. The loved ones who wanted to be here, who couldn't be here. Those who were nearby, those who didn't make it to 2021. I want you to imagine them, and I want them to imagine them touching your hand at the moment. Create that image and hold it. And then on the count of 3, I want you to repeat after me. We belong together. 1, 2, 3. We belong together. Let's do it again. Imagine touching them on the count of 3. We belong together. 1, 2, 3. We belong together. And then finally, on the count of 3, just in a modest voice, we're going to say, go Huskies. 1, 2, 3. Go Huskies. Welcome in incoming class.
That's one of my favorite moments of the year right there. Thank you, Dean Taylor. Well, we've learned a great deal about you, our incoming class, and now we'd like to introduce you to some of the faculty members who will be your teachers and mentors for the next 4 years. They are experts in nearly every imaginable field, and every day they are engaged in research and scholarship that is impacting our world in profound ways. The person who leads our faculty is our provost, Mark Richards. As provost, Dr. Richards is the university's chief academic and budget officer, and the person who works most closely with the deans and the faculty to shape your academic experience. Dr. Richards is also a professor of Earth and Space Sciences in the College of the Environment. Please join me in welcoming our provost, Mark Richards.
Thank you, Joe. On behalf of the faculty of the University of Washington, welcome. You are here. It's my role today to introduce you to our faculty, the professors, instructors who will teach, guide, mentor, and inspire you throughout your time at the University of Washington. They recognize that the last year and a half has been anything but normal, and our faculty are dedicated to helping you to start this academic year in a meaningful and a productive way. They have spent the last several months creating and developing a quality learning experience in the wake of the pandemic for you. Our UW professors are bringing their vast experience, knowledge and experience into the classroom, into the laboratory, and into the studio. Your professors are scientists and teachers and researchers and writers and artists who care very deeply about your education and your academic success. So I'll brag a little bit. Our faculty includes 17 MacArthur Fellows, 188 members of the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, 101 members of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, 193 fellows of the American Association for the Advancement of Scientists. And the university has also been home to 7 Nobel Prize winners. Like you, they come from nearly every state in the United States and dozens of countries throughout Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, and Australia. They have received advanced degrees from Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Berkeley, Princeton, Michigan, Cambridge, and many other universities across the nation and around the world. They represent what is truly a United Nations of higher education. Our faculty also work all over the world. I'm the provost, but I'm also a professor of Earth and Space Sciences, and I study volcanic rocks in India. I actually like doing that. Other professors research penguins in Argentina. They use DNA and forensic science to save elephants in Africa and advocate for human rights in Guatemala. Still others examine how people use social media in the wake of natural disasters and explore three-dimensional printing with clay. And entire teams of UW faculty are researching the causes, the impacts, prevention, and cure for COVID-19. The university's global reach is perhaps one reason that it was recently ranked number 8 in the world and number 2 among public universities in the United States. Those rankings have everything to do with our faculty and everything to do with you, not just our faculty, our students. As students, you will get a world-class education from a world-class faculty. As faculty, our biggest motivation for being at the University of Washington is that we love to work with students. You inspire us, and we are here to help you explore new worlds of knowledge and intellectual adventure. Even as a first-year student, you can be involved in the university's mission of research, teaching, and public service. Your education is interactive, so don't wait, jump in. A good place to start is to go to class. Now, wait a minute, did I just say that? After these many months of not going to class and Zooming, yes, it's time to go to class. Isn't that great? We've been working really hard to make this happen, and we can't wait to see you in 3 dimensions. Along with that, get to know your professors. I know sometimes you see a professor in the lofty kind of way, but don't be shy. They really want to get to know you too. That's why they're here. Visit their office hours, send them a message. Don't be shy, and ask them about their research, about their writing, what they teach. Ask for their advice. They are passionate about these things. And I should mention something else. The University of Washington has one of the largest, most successful, and most robust programs for undergraduate research in the world. It's led by Dean Ed Taylor, who just spoke to you. Do not wait around until your junior or senior year to start asking about this. Go knock on doors. You are not here just to absorb and be taught knowledge. You can be here to discover knowledge and create knowledge now. Your professors are going to help you make the most of your time as a student at the University of Washington. Again, you're the reason we're here. So today, I have the great privilege of introducing a teacher who has long been a student favorite at the university. Wendy Barrington is an associate professor of epidemiology and health systems and population health in the School of Public Health, and also an associate professor of child, family, and population health nursing in the School of Nursing. And that's quite a mouthful. Over the last year, in fact, I've had the pleasure of working with Professor Barrington in several situations, and I can tell you that she just seems to be an inspiration to everything she touches. After completing her undergraduate studies at Stanford University, Dr. Barrington earned a Master of Public Health at the University of New Mexico and received her PhD right here in epidemiology from the University of Washington in 2012. Her research focuses on racial disparities in clinical outcomes and promoting healthy communities. How timely. She has studied the impact of neighborhoods on mental and physical health, as well as the role of racial disparities in cancer outcomes. Please join me in welcoming Professor Wendy Barrington.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Good afternoon. It is my utmost privilege and honor to welcome you, our students, on behalf of the faculty at the University of Washington. We are so excited to have you join us. In your life's journey, you have come to a significant milestone, right here, right now. You are entering a new community, and you will be changed by that experience. Let that sink in a moment. You are at the precipice of stepping forward, and you're going to move forward, and you know that you will be different when you come out on the other side. That's incredibly exciting, and it's also a little bit nerve-wracking. I was asked to share a faculty perspective to help you be successful in your college experience, and I hope you'll indulge me. I want to share a little bit of my story, my journey, and how I got here in front of you. First, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my experience as an undergraduate, then moving into being a graduate student, a faculty person here at the UW, and then also now a mom of a UW Husky undergraduate. So first stop, my undergraduate years. I remember the trip to my campus, driving down Highway 101 from Oregon to California, No, I was not a dog at first. That comes later. I was so nervous. I was starting from scratch on so many levels. I needed to make new friends. My academic record was reset. In high school, I was known for being a nerd and getting good grades, and suddenly everyone around me was a nerd and got good grades. So I really had this opportunity to reinvent myself, or at least get to know a part of myself that I hadn't yet met. Growing up in a rural suburb in Oregon, there was not a lot of diversity in my community. When I got to campus, I experienced an evolution in my identity as a biracial Black woman. I connected with and formed friendships with students who looked like me. I found a significant community and a degree of acceptance that I never had before, and that was glorious. But looking back, the one thing that I wish I could have done differently was to expand my social networks to include faculty. Yes, college is about connecting with your peers, but college is also about fostering your academic success and connecting to opportunities, and we as faculty can help you do that. I don't think I made one meaningful connection as an undergraduate with a faculty person, and I really think that was to my detriment. It just didn't occur to me. Yes, I went to class, but that was really it. I participated like I was still in high school. I didn't realize that there was a different expectation for college. I thought that just by attending my classes and listening to the instructor that I was doing what I was supposed to do. I didn't attend office hours or academic events outside of class. Did you know that office hours are when faculty are available to meet with students? Office hours are not for faculty time, it's your time. I had no idea. I was just barely hanging on, keeping up with readings and assignments. Little did I know that if I had attended office hours, I probably would have received better grades. Not just because office hours is a time to ask questions, delve more deeply into content, and practice applying concepts, but because office hours is one way of connecting with faculty on a personal level. Skip ahead 4 years. I graduated, but I didn't really have any connections that could help me continue my journey, and that was okay, but it would have been easier if I'd had a guide to give me a lay of the land and help me continue on, rather than having to try and figure everything out by myself. When I decided to go to graduate school, I vowed to take a different approach. I had conversations with my instructors before and after class. I decided to be a teaching assistant or a TA. By working closely with my instructors to help teach others, I learned so much more, and a new path opened up before me that probably would not have revealed myself if I hadn't taken that experience. I realized that I loved to teach. I knew that I wanted to work with college students, and because I was in public health, epidemiology to be exact, I knew that I had to come to the top-ranked University of Washington to be able to do that. So when I arrived at the University of Washington, I was what was called, or what has been called, a non-traditional student, as I had 2 small children. I remember walking into office hours with a professor who was world-renowned in our field, just amazing. I was so in awe of this individual. And unexpectedly, I had my 3-year-old son with me. I tentatively knocked on the door, and he invited us in. And he took one look at us, opened up the drawer of his desk, took out toys, gave them to my son so my son could play, and we continued to prepare me for my preliminary exam. I was shocked. And I knew 2 things in that moment: that this was the right place for me, and that I wanted to be a faculty person who is inclusive and adaptive as my professor. I always say that being a parent has helped me be a better student because I had to be strategic and productive with my time. But this is a lesson that everybody can take, right? Setting up a weekly plan, including when and where I'm studying, reading, or writing the Sunday before the week. And I say that in the present tense because that's something I still do to this day, and it's been a life-saving habit. And again, I made sure that I reached out to faculty. And not just one faculty person, lots of faculty people. As a student, you need to start building your support system, and you don't need to rely on just one person to be that for you. You can offer lots of opportunities for people to support you. One person might help you with a particular concept. One person might help connect you to networks in your field of interest. One person might have experiential opportunities that you can dial into. And another person might help you be strategic. And what I mean by that is making intentional decisions that contribute to your success. Here are the faculty who I connected with as a UW student, almost all of whom I am connected with here today, 14 years later. And these individuals continue to play a supportive role in my career. And just imagine how many more faces would be on that screen if I had started making those connections when I was an undergrad. They are a part of my learning network, and that network is continually growing. Just imagine how many more you will have. As a faculty person now in the schools of nursing and public health, I play a different role in the teaching and learning dynamic. That was another thing I didn't really appreciate until becoming an instructor, is that learning is not transactional. It's not that I will do this so that you can do that. It's really a relationship where the teacher and the learner are learning together. And I want to acknowledge that engaging with faculty may be intimidating, but we are people who will listen to you. We will talk with you. We will think with you. I often teach as a team with student teaching assistants, or TAs, and sometimes students find it easier to approach the TAs first with issues or questions. So you can start small and meet with TAs during their office hours or before or after class, if that's easier. You can also email your instructor and work up to introducing yourself before or after class. And you don't need to wait until there's an issue or a problem to talk to your instructor. Introduce yourself at the beginning of the quarter. You can attend office hours with other students if that makes you feel more comfortable. And you can even request to schedule a different meeting time if the office hours that are offered don't fit with your schedule. We are here to facilitate your success. So I can tell you that it is much easier to help students you know than students that you don't know. And it's not because as faculty that we don't want to help all students. It's that knowing students makes it so much easier to help. If we know you, we can work with you to find solutions together. And quite frankly, faculty are much more likely to be flexible to help facilitate your success if we know you. It's just human nature. It's a part of building that relationship, of building that connection. Thinking back, I was more passive in my undergraduate years. And that is really a lesson learned that I wanted to share with you today, to not do that, but to actually take charge of your learning. Chart your own course. Take the driver's seat. So I didn't step forward to pursue opportunities. That wasn't even something that I knew you could do. I didn't even know if I understood what an opportunity was when I first stepped onto the college campus. I thought college was just about going to class, but it can be so much more than that. And this is something you've been hearing as all of us have been coming up and talking with you. You are all students at the University of Washington, one of the most influential institutions in our region, our country, and the world. College is a venue to explore the application of what you're learning. Not just learn, but to practice what you're learning, to put it into practice, to actually make an impact. Faculty can also help connect you to those opportunities where you might be able to have an experience that you hadn't even considered. That might help you build skills and expertise towards a goal. That provides an opportunity to align your values to your work so that it's relevant and meaningful for you. Or help you figure out, actually, that's just really not what I want to do after all. And that's okay, all of it is so incredibly valuable. And if I may, I would like to address not just the students in the audience, recognizing that there are those who are joining us who are not under this tent today, but also those individuals who are here to support students as well. I mentioned that I have a daughter who is a junior this year at the UW. It was just 2 years ago when I was attending Convocation, not as a UW faculty, but as a person in support of a new student, and in my case, as a parent. I have found this transition to be challenging, and I think the main reason is one that we all might have trouble with. It's hard letting go. The stepping back as our young ones step forward towards independence. It's been so hard because I want to share all of my lessons learned and hope that she will choose a path that avoids the pitfalls that I have fallen into. But she is not me. And making mistakes is a necessary part of growing. I have moved away from asking about her grades to asking about her experience. What is she excited about? What ideas is she exploring? What opportunities is she pursuing to apply those ideas? And being okay when she strikes out in a different direction than what I had thought. A path less traveled, at least by me. To trust her in her process. And I can say with certainty that the University of Washington is a place that will nurture her curiosity, that will challenge her, that will support her. And by extension, I know that the UW will nurture, support, and challenge you as students as well. I've been talking to you for a bit now, and I know that some things will stick and some things will not, and I always say that that's okay because you can always ask questions. So please don't hesitate ever to reach out to a faculty person. If we don't know the answer, we can connect you to somebody who does. We are here for you. Welcome to the University of Washington, and go Dogs.
Okay, my friends, here's the deal. If you want to have a great experience here and be successful, do everything Wendy Barrington just told you to do. Thank you so much, Dr. Barrington. Oh, well, whatever. What a splendid way to begin the academic year. On behalf of the entire university community, I'd like to thank our honored guests and all of you who have made this day so special. The audience is requested to remain seated until the completion of the recession by the platform party. The 2021 new Student Convocation of the University of Washington is now closed.
Rise up with pride for Washington, for purple and for gold, from far and wide we meet as one, as Huskies proud and bold. Oh, Washington, we hail to thee, honor, truth, integrity, forever shine from lake to shore, your light upon us Rise up with pride for Washington,